Today's reading comes from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s letter from a Birmingham jail. It is a seminal document in the American Civil Rights Movement and a powerful articulation of his philosophy of nonviolent resistance.
Written in April 1963 during his imprisonment for participating in a nonviolent protest against racial segregation in Birmingham, Alabama, the letter addresses themes of justice, morality, and the urgency of action.
Now, Sonia and I have been friends for more than 2 decades. I know we don't look old enough for that, but we have. During that time, we have grown a lot, and we've learned a lot together.
Yes. God has put us together because we can do more together than we can by ourselves. So whether you're here with me in Greensboro, North Carolina,
or with me here in Rochester, New York,
we feel the power of these words, which is born from his background as a Baptist pastor.
Listen now to the voice of Dr. King as we read excerpts from his letter from a Birmingham jail. Slight changes have been made for inclusive language and racial sensitivity.
I must make 2 honest confessions to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers and sisters. First, I must confess that over the past few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride toward freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice.
Who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. Who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but cannot agree with your methods of direct action. Who paternalistically believes they can set the timetable for another person's freedom. Who lives by a mythical concept of time, and who constantly advises the person of color to wait for a more convenient season.
Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection.
In a real sense, all life is interrelated. All people are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. We know through painful experience that freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed.
One has not only a legal, but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. So I have tried to make it clear that it is wrong to use immoral means to attain moral ends. But now I must affirm that it is just as wrong, or even more so, to use moral means to preserve immoral ends.
We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the hateful words and actions of the bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people Will we be extremists for hate, or will we be extremists for love? Will we be extremists for the preservation of injustice, or will we be extremists for the cause of justice?
Before the pen of Jefferson etched the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence across the pages of history, we were here.
Mm-hmm.
For more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored in this country without wages. They made cotton king. They built the homes of their masters while suffering gross injustice and shameful humiliation. And yet, out of a bottomless vitality, they continue to thrive and develop.
Mm.
If the inexpressible cruelties of slavery could not stop us, the opposition we now face will surely fail.
History is the long and tragic story of the fact that privileged groups seldom give up their privileges voluntarily. Individuals may see the moral light and voluntarily give up their unjust posture, but as Reinhold Niebuhr has reminded us, groups are more immoral than individuals. In deep disappointment, I have wept over the laxity of the church. But be assured that my tears have been tears of love. There can be no deep disappointment where there is not deep love. Here ends our reading.